When you think about stories, you think about heroes, right? There's an animating character at the center of your story, or maybe many that help bring the story to life. So I want to give you some examples of how heroes bring the capital S story to life through their actions, their behavior. Time for another story. The inspiration hit Bill Bowerman one morning over a plate of waffles. Staring at the syrup filling the depressions in his breakfast food, Bowerman saw something no one else had. What if he could create something with the waffle iron that solved his greatest problem, a better grip for world-class running shoes? Now, over the summer of 1970, Bowerman stepped into his kitchen over and over again, pouring urethane into his wife's waffle iron instead of pancake batter. It wasn't the first man to ruin a kitchen appliance. He was probably the most famous. Now, today we know Bowerman's company and its legendary CEO far better than we know Bowerman. But without Bill Bowerman, Nike wouldn't exist, and we might not know Phil Knight. Knight met Bowerman while Knight was one of the runners on Bowerman's University of Oregon track team. And the picture I've got here for you is actually from the Nike Museum in Beaverton, Oregon. It is one of the waffle irons that Bill Bowerman ruined in the summer of 1970. Is there only one kind of hero? You know, those of us who've been exposed to Star Wars, or I don't know, Bridget Jones' Diary, or pick your literature or your pop culture, Marvel, DC Comics. The answer is no. Most storytellers will agree that there are about 12 of the most common archetypes. This is an archetype wheel that we use at our firm. You can see there's 4 points of the compass. Those characters or archetypes who are most concerned about freedom at the top, those who are most concerned about order at the bottom, those who are most social at the right, and those who are most driven by an innate inner drive at the left. And I'll just go around from, you can see magician, hero, creator, explorer, outlaw, jester, lover, caregiver, everyman, innocent, ruler, sage. So Merlin the magician would be an example of a magician. An outlaw would be Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. Why are archetypes important? Because they give us a direct connection to the old brain and better communications results. There's an archetype or 2 or 3 or a combination of some within your organization that brings your capital S story to life. So I want to give you some examples. This is one of my favorites. You can go on to YouTube and Google Blend Tech. They did this series with Tom Dixon, the retired CEO. Blendtec made industrial strength blenders, and Dixon would test them in the lab by grinding up iPhones. And I mean, you just can't imagine Darth Vader figurines. Well, this is in the early years of YouTube, and he had a great marketing guy working for the company at the time, and it exploded. So this is a B2B company with a very visual story about the indestructibility of its blenders. And they went out into the world and made that a success. This is somebody that we know well in Pittsburgh, Jonas Salk. As you look at what's happening in the world today with the COVID vaccines, I even saw a headline the other day. I didn't have a chance to get into the PowerPoint. Who will be the next Jonas Salk with the COVID vaccine? This is another local example from Pittsburgh. It's actually Marvel Comics collaboration with Allegheny Health Network, also COVID related. Genius. Allegheny Health Network here, which is the second largest health network in Pittsburgh, decided to honor its frontline caregivers through this collaboration with Marvel. It is quite literally a comic book that celebrates the heroes delivering care on the front lines of COVID. Now, not every hero needs to be somebody, you know, who's commercially oriented or developing some sort of science. This is Erin Brockovich. A lot of people consider her a hero in the environmental movement, right? And this brooding, dark-eyed fella, you read about his name practically every day, Nikola Tesla. Elon Musk thought enough of his genius and his story to name a car company and an entire line of cars after him. So this will just give you kind of an idea of the different kinds of heroes you can find in organizations today. How do you find your hero? You align the archetypes in your organization with your people. What you're looking to do is make the people in your organization the heroes. And as you can see with some of the examples I just showed you, you don't have to be famous or big for this to work.